You're the one holding it all together. That's exactly why the people you carry will get rich before you do. The better you do your job, the more invisible you become. And that's not bad luck, it's the design. The reward for being good at your work is more work, never more freedom. And almost never the money that should have come with carrying this much. Here's the pattern, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You became the reliable one. The person things get handed to when they actually matter, because you'll get them done and you won't make it a problem. And every time you deliver, the system learns the same lesson. Give it to them. They'll absorb it. So the work flows toward you, not the visible work, the critical work. The work that keeps everything running and never shows up anywhere, a decision about your future gets made. There's a name for this, and it'll reframe how you see your entire week. Researchers who study careers call it non-promotable work, sometimes office housework, tasks that are essential to the organization but tied to nobody's promotion. Fixing the thing that broke, onboarding the new person, being the one who knows how it actually works. Critical, constant, and structurally invisible, because the people who decide your raise never see it, and the work itself was never designed to be seen. Now sit with what that means, because it's worse than it sounds. You solved the problem, so you get the next problem. You're competent, so you become the place competence goes to get used up. And the cruelest part, it looks like success the entire time. People depend on you. You feel essential. Essential feels like safe. But essential and advancing are not the same thing, and the system is perfectly happy to keep you in the first one forever. I'll be honest about how I know this. For years, I was proud of being the person who could be handed anything. I read it as proof of my value. What I didn't see was that every time I quietly absorbed something, I was teaching the place I worked that it never had to recognize me to keep getting it. I was excellent, and excellence had become my cage. I was doing the most important work in the room, and somehow it was the least visible work in the building. But here's where most people stop, and where this video doesn't, because blaming the system is only half true. You are not just a victim of this. You are complicit in it, and you have to see how, or nothing changes. You keep doing the invisible work because of who you are. You were trained, by school, by every early win, to believe that the output is what matters. Do the work, do it well, and the rest takes care of itself. So you pour everything into the doing, and you treat managing how you're seen as beneath you. Politics, self-promotion, not your style. You'd rather just deliver. And that pride, the discipline you're proudest of, is the exact thing the system feeds on. Your work ethic isn't protecting you. It's the mechanism. You're not being exploited against your values. You're being exploited through them. So that's the trap. Here's the way out. And it is not, learn to be more visible at work, because that's just a nicer cage. Start by seeing what's actually happening in financial terms, because that's what it is. Your competence is capital. It's the most valuable asset you own. And right now, you're spending it, the best hours of your sharpest years, on work that pays no interest. Non-promotable work doesn't compound. You do it, it evaporates, and tomorrow there's more. You are taking your one appreciating asset and burning it on tasks that build the institution's value and never your own. Nobody who understood money would invest like that. But that's what disciplined, reliable, excellent people do every single day, and call it responsibility. So the first move is not to work harder or louder. It's to stop spending capital where it earns nothing. Become much harder to hand the invisible work to, not to dodge effort, but to reclaim it. Every hour of competence the system was absorbing for free is an hour of capital back in your account. This part is mechanical, not heroic. You stop being the default. You let some things be someone else's problem. It will feel wrong because your wiring reads it as failure. It isn't. It's the first time you've stopped donating your value to a place that was never going to price it correctly. And then, this is the part that actually builds freedom. You take that reclaimed capital and invest it where it compounds and where you own the return. Not in being seen better as an employee, in building something you control, value that pays you directly, expertise people hire you for by name, not by title. Something you build once that keeps earning while you sleep, a product, a body of work, an audience, a stake in something. The test is simple. If you stopped showing up tomorrow, does it stop paying? An employee's value stops the day they do. An owner's doesn't. Because here's the truth underneath all of it. They were never going to pay you what you're worth for the invisible work. Invisible work is, by definition, the work they get to underpay. The way out was never to make them finally see it. It was to take the thing they couldn't see and build something you can control. You stop being the go-to person to escape the trap. You become the person who doesn't need them.